order the Board of Zoning Appeals of the City of Decatur for a meeting. The meeting was advertised in the local newspaper, and I'm making sure we're having a BZA and a Plan Commission meeting. I want to make sure the proper documents got circulated. All the members have had a chance to see the certificate of publication for the BZA and the notice of adjoining landowners for 611 North 2nd Street. Do I hear a motion to make them a matter of record?
I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting as emailed to everybody. Do we have any changes or additions to that?
No.
Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as distributed?
I so move. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as distributed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you very much. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. We've got quite a bit of information that we need to go through this afternoon, and since both BZA and Plan are meeting, we're going to be challenged to be out of here by 6 o'clock with everything that we have on the agenda. I'm requesting that the BZA members please, if their schedule allows, stay for the Plan Commission meeting, because the information that's going to be presented during that meeting will directly affect how BZA operates in the future as far as the land use ordinance. And Nate Roomschlag, City Attorney, is going to be in and do a presentation on that. So, with that said, would like to go ahead and move forward with the business at hand. And I'm going to apologize for butchering this name. Cameron and Katie Meir are requesting a variance of the rear yard setback requirement to build a 30 by 22 detached garage at their residence at 611 North 2nd Street, Decatur, Indiana, which is located in an R2 zoning. Refer to City Code 150.072 minimum rear yard setback. Is the applicant present? If you'd like to come forward, and Roger, can you make sure that microphone is working? And make your presentation to the board for your project.
Uh-oh. I can be loud if you want me. There you go.
Blinking like it should be on.
Yeah, be loud. Okay, I'll be loud. Yeah, the plan is to build a 30 by 22 detached garage at our residence here on 611 North 2nd Street. Presently, there is no garage, either attached or detached to the property. We have an existing concrete pad that's been there since the dawn of time that we're wanting to build this over the top of. The style of construction we're going to do is more of like a pole barn style construction, so I can utilize the existing pad, and then if need be later I can tear out the old pad and put it in and move from there. It's not going to be an eyesore by any means. Even though it's going to be a pole barn style construction, we're going to do vinyl siding, etc. Make it nice looking. Outside of that, questions, comments, concerns?
Any questions from the board for the applicant?
Is there adequate access through there for, say, a fire truck or?
There's a kind of a pseudo alley through the four properties that go through there. I say pseudo alley in that it's an unplotted alley. It's technically owned by us and the adjoining property beside us, but that's completely unblocked by this building. So
Yeah, that would probably be fire truck, and it'd be ran from the street anyway. They wouldn't pull back in there, I don't think.
I wouldn't advise it, no.
No, they wouldn't pull back in here anyway. They'd just sit out on the road.
Any additional questions from the board for the applicant? I drove by there a couple of times, and to me it seems like there's more than adequate room for what he's trying to do. Thank you very much, Cameron. Do we have anybody in attendance that is in opposition to the application? Nobody's in opposition. Do we have anybody in attendance that's in favor of the application? All right, with that, is there anybody from the board that has an additional question for Cameron?
No.
All righty, well, are we ready to read the findings of fact?
Yes.
And what they are requesting would be a variance to build up to 5 feet from the rear property line. So that is a variance to build to 5 feet, or a variance...
It'll be within 5 feet of the property line. Yeah, and the reason he's doing that is because I think your poles are going to be sitting right off the back edge of that existing slab now.
Okay.
That's why he's asking to go back that distance. But he's utilizing...
Okay, but my question is the variance written in such a way that it is a variance from the requirement, or that it can be built 5 feet to the property line? What's the proper wording? Either way?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, either way, because it's the 10-foot rear setback on that one. It's 10-foot rear, so he must be within 5 feet.
So it's a 5-foot variance.
From 10 to 5?
Yeah,
Correct.
to build
Okay.
within 5, yeah, kind of right on the line. Not to build within 5, but he's asking for a 5-foot variance, yeah.
Okay, I just didn't want it coming up later that
Right.
we worded it incorrectly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready to read the findings of fact. All 5 members of the board are in attendance. It has to be a majority. We'll poll the board as I read each of the questions. Yes answer means you agree with and would grant the variance as requested. The first finding of fact is the granting of a variance will not permit any use in any district which would be in conflict with the permitted uses of the district under the terms of this chapter. Yes.
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 4 yes. It will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent property. Yes.
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 4 yes. It will not unreasonably increase the congestion in public streets. Yes.
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 4 yes. It will not increase the danger of fire or public safety. Yes.
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 4 yes. It will not unreasonably diminish or impair established property values within the surrounding area. Yes.
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 4 yes. It will not in any other respect impair the public health, comfort, safety, morals, or welfare of the inhabitants of the city. Yes.
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 4 yes. It is therefore the decision of this board that the petition for variance is granted or denied. Granted.
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 4 yes. Subject to the conditions stated herein, the variance is a 5-foot variance from the 10-foot rear setback, allowing the applicant to build within 5 feet of the property line. And that is approved on the 15th day of September, 2015. Congratulations. Thank you for your project and adding to the value of the neighborhood. That is the petition that we have before the Board of Zoning Appeals this afternoon. Do we have any old business? This is old business that is new business, which is the annual renewal for Love Inc. And Claudia Kargas is here representing Love Inc. And I'm going to defer to Tim Baker to explain why Claudia is here this afternoon.
Okay. If you recall, when the action was taken by the board, you allowed that to exist for a year to see how things went, whether there was any complaints from surrounding property owners, whether there was any issues that arose from the use by Love Inc. of this facility. And so the purpose of this hearing today is to determine whether there were any such complaints, and secondly, whether you're going to require this to come back another year, or waive that and allow it to be a permanent use. I think when the presentation was made, there was some discussion, as I recall, that you didn't anticipate this was a long-term arrangement, and I think that was another reason why it was done on a shorter-term basis. So I don't know what the circumstances are with regard to the intent to continue to use this, or for what period of time, and maybe you can answer that.
Okay. Our property is 1109 Angus Drive, and it is in a neighborhood. We have had no complaints from the neighbors. We haven't had any parking issues. Everybody seems to be one big happy family out there. However, we are still actively looking for a different building because we do want to expand our ministry and get back into such as furniture and so forth. The buildings that we've looked at or we've seen out there have not been suitable for us for either structure, mold, mildew, or the size. And we are still actively looking. We're hoping we can get something, I hope within this next year. But it just depends on the building. So if anybody knows of a building, talk to me. And we're willing to either rent or possibly purchase.
Okay.
So that's why we're asking for another year on this.
Okay. Roger, has there been any complaints received by the building department?
None. No, we've not heard anything.
If I may, I have one question regarding Claudia's paperwork. She came to the meeting kind of as a courtesy to address the board. It was not advertised. I think that was one of the questions that we wanted answered. Does she need to formally come back as a reapplication, or is this a continuation of the first application?
I would say it's a continuation, and schedule it for another year out, and hopefully we'll see where we are. At that point, it may be necessary to give notice to surrounding property owners so if they want to come in and have any say. If you're still there and you want another year, then that could be addressed. If you want it permanent, then that would be up to the board to make that decision. If you're out of there by then it would be a moot issue.
Okay, so that update requires no action from the board. Does anybody on the board have any questions for Claudia about what Mr. Baker described? So at this point, to sort of summarize that, continue as you're going now, and in another year, we would ask for an application to be made to consider this being a permanent arrangement. That way we can notify the neighbors, and they would have the opportunity to comment pro or con, and then we can move forward from that point. Is that a summary?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in agreement with
I
that? Okay. Claudia, thank you very much for the update. Congratulations on the wonderful work you're doing, and I hope you can continue to do it and find a facility that is more conducive to that ministry.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the other thing that is on the BZA new business that I'm aware of at this point is what I started the meeting with in the housekeeping. I would ask the BZA members to stick around. City Engineer Nate Rumflock is going to talk a little bit about the land use ordinance, and that will affect BZA in future things. So the more information we know about that, the better off we are. Is there any additional new business? Any old business that I missed?
Oh, yeah. Is there going to be anything said about
Yeah, that's
what we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. In planning.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do we need to read that into the minutes of BZA at this point as new business?
You can, yeah, that's fine. It's just a matter that it's coming up potentially, and that's really the discussion that we have to determine how we're going to handle this.
Right. We just want to make everybody aware it's coming up.
The city attorney has sent a letter of notice to Mark Gamble of 839 North 10th Street concerning code violations operating a business in residential zoning without appropriate documentation, variances or special exceptions. We're going to talk about it more in the BZA meeting about what the options are, and some of those options will be directly affected by the changes that are being adopted in the land use ordinance, correct? In Plan Commission.
Yeah, we're talking about it in Plan Commission. I don't know if,
It's going to affect this one or not.
yeah, and I don't know what Nate's presentation is on, other than an explanation of changes that were made in the land use ordinance already?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't-
These aren't proposed
it doesn't have
changes.
anything to do with this particular one.
But the unique circumstances that we're going to be talking about could cause us to ask for some changes.
Right.
Or amendments
Possible, yeah.
to what we've just adopted, or considering adopting.
Right.
So that will be discussed in more detail on that 10th Street property. Thank you, Steve. Anything else from members of the BZA? From the city attorney? Building department?
We will be having another meeting in the next, probably 3-4 weeks. We're shooting for the first Tuesday in October.
All right, anything else? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn BZA so Plan Commission can convene?
I so move. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen. Time to play musical chairs.
Okay, I called to order the Plan Commission meeting, and first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting that were mailed to you. Are there any additions or corrections? Do I hear a motion that we accept it as email? So moved. Is there a second? Motion's been made and second to accept the minutes as emailed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we've passed around, I think everyone's seen the proof of publication ad. Do I have a motion to make that a matter of record?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second to make the proof of publication a matter of record. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, petitions before us this evening. Number 1, Gilpin Iron Works requesting plan review for an 80 by 125 warehouse at 1819 Patterson, Decatur. Refer to City Code Section 150.330B.
From Miller Rental Engineering, representing the owner and the builder on this project. So basically, Gilpin's is, like you mentioned, an 80 by 125 pole barn type structure, metal siding, metal roof, directly south of the facility. Basically a cold storage warehouse facility storing steel items, so nothing flammable type items like that. Had a very productive meeting with Nate and Roger about 3 weeks ago prior to starting this meeting. Went over the project based on the size of the project, no storm drainage detention is required. Also met with fire chief, happened to stop in while we were meeting, and based on his comment, we are proposing an extension of the gravel parking lot in the southwest corner to help a fire truck, basically movability in case of a fire type thing. So we did add that based on his comments and concerns. Pretty straightforward, basically, just a rectangle building they're doing. Overhead door on this facility that's going to match up to their existing building that they can just cart things between the two buildings. So, pretty straightforward. I can answer any questions you may have.
Board members, any questions? Commission members?
What's the height of that this new building? 8 to 10 feet. I don't have an exact answer for that. Approximately probably 12-foot walls. Okay. Pure, yeah, nothing skyscraper-ish, but
Any other questions?
So this is just an accessory structure for them. They're independent, so it doesn't modify their existing facility. Did we receive architectural plans for that?
I think do you have a copy in your file of those plans, architectural?
Not
No.
not the structure, no.
Okay. I was thinking I had preliminary ones, and maybe that would be like...
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Actually, I do have some that I can pass around.
Let's
You guys
do
have
that.
these? I forgot I had these.
Even if we can just make those a matter of record.
16-foot tall.
Let's do that. Even if we have to get those back to you. Here's the renovations.
So there's lighting in the building and no insulation?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any other questions from commission members?
Just a clarification, since this is an accessory building to a facility that's already in operation, do we still need the landscape plan and the other items that normally would go along with a site plan review?
As an industrial zone, we've got flexibility in that. Landscaping is essentially tied to your screening and buffering is toward residential structures, not other industrial. So, since there's no additional parking, there's no shade requirements, we could look at like a lighting plan, but really there's not